Welcome back to Vinyl Decal School. Thanks for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful for everyone who watches my videos. I love making them. So even though I'm really happy with the setup I use every day to design and cut my vinyls, I usually do everything on Photoshop or Illustrator if it's a bit more complicated, and then I'll add all of the different designs onto one big kind of canvas, and then I'll send it to either my Cricut or my Silhouette machine to then cut the vinyls out. Even though that works really well for me and it's super quick, I do really want to start hand lettering my own designs. So I've been learning Procreate and I'm really trying to hone my skills on there, but I still actually haven't tried cutting anything straight from my iPad yet. I've had it since the middle of last year, and for some reason I've just kind of never got around to trying it. So today I thought I would try it for the first time and film it as I do it, see how easy or difficult it is, and see what different features there are in comparison to what I usually use, which is a MacBook. I did actually want to do a Cricut versus Silhouette. I've obviously got both machines and I wanted to see which one would be quicker using my iPad, but it turns out I couldn't even get the Silhouette software onto my iPad, so it's still at the moment in beta testing stages, and you can only get it on Apple devices through Test Flight, which is like a app testing thing that Apple have. But all of the invitations are now gone from Silhouette, so I couldn't even get it on. It does look like you might be able to get the Silhouette app if you have an Android device though. It looks like you can get it off the Google Play Store, but we're completely brainwashed by Apple in this house. We don't have a single Android device. I don't know if I'd even know where to start on using one now. So I can't even test that for you. So yeah, if anyone does have an Android device and uses the Silhouette app on their tablet and it's pretty easy, then please let me know in the comments, because I'm sure lots of other people would like to know too. So I have an iPad 7th generation. It's not an iPad Pro, just a normal iPad, and an Apple Pencil. They do work on these iPads. And I think it's the smallest version you can get. I can't remember the size exactly. And that's been working really well for me for learning hand lettering and Procreate. I didn't want to get the bigger one because I wanted it to be as portable as possible. And it didn't seem necessary to pay the extra for the iPad Pro because I could use the Apple Pencil on this version of the iPad. If you do want to get into hand lettering, do just double check the iPad you're buying can be used with the Apple Pencil, because I think some of the older ones aren't compatible. So I just started by downloading the Design Space app onto my iPad. It's really easy to find in the App Store and to download, and there are quite a few other apps that look like they go alongside them. I haven't tried any of them, but if you've got any recommendations then do let me know. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. So once it was downloaded, I just signed in with my same Cricut ID that I use on my computer, and then tried to pair the machines. I've got a Cricut Explore 2, so I clicked that one. Tried to connect just from this page, made sure my Bluetooth was on, and although it is coming up on there, when you click on it, it says it hasn't found it. So I went into my settings under Bluetooth instead, used the pin from the previous page to pair it within the Bluetooth settings, and that seemed to work instead, and it connected. So click back on Design Space and it updated the machine as well. Didn't want to do a test cut because I'm going to go straight into Procreate, and I'm just going to make sure that I've got the right settings on my canvas. So I always have it set at 300 dpi, so it's good resolution, and usually put the drawing guide on as well to try and get my wording straight. I'm using a brush pen from Happy Bounce Lettering. I think I got it on Etsy. I'll try and put it in the description. And as I said, I'm still kind of learning, but hopefully it's not going to look too bad. Put everything on separate layers as well, so it's easier to kind of move them around if you need to. Just going to select both of those just to make them a bit smaller. Make sure they're uniform. I'm just doing like a random design here that maybe I'll give it to my husband for Valentine's Day because I haven't got him anything yet and it's in a few days. Put it on something. When it's ready, you just get rid of the background colour, and then I'm going to save it as PNG, and I think I'll just save it as an image. I'm assuming I'll be able to get that from into Design Space. Yep, so select from photo library and it just uploads it in from there. Don't need to do any of those things, but it's good that there's the option. So on this next page, I thought this was cool, the smooth tool. So when you're drawing, it's never like fully smooth as when you do fonts and stuff like that. So I just tried it out. I went way too smooth. That looks really bad. So I just reset it and just did it a couple of times instead, just to kind of get rounder edges on some of the lines I've done. I'm just going to try, and still think that looked a bit thick, so it's annoying you can't just go in there and like draw extra lines on, but I should have really done that before I saved it in Procreate. I'm happy with that there. I'm going to save it as its name. And then cut the image, obviously, rather than print and cut. So you can change the units from there. It's really weird getting used to moving it around with your fingers. I'm so used to using a mouse, but kind of got there in the end, made it a lot smaller, made it the size I want it to be. And then I'm just kind of playing around with the different settings here, seeing where everything is. So it's almost like everything's just along the bottom. All the stuff that's usually down the side and across the top on a computer, it's just down there at the bottom. Yeah, I guess it's the only way you can learn really is by clicking on loads of stuff. So I'm happy with that there. I'm gonna make it. And then I saw this on TikTok that you can take a photo of your mat. It did take me quite a few tries to get it kind of lined up. I put it on the floor so I had enough room to do it. And then you can move your design around to make sure it's definitely where you want it on your vinyl. So I just thought this is so good. If you've got loads of scraps of vinyl, you can put them all on your mat and make sure the design is in the right place. So this is it after it has been cut. And it looks like it's come out pretty good. It's not too jaggedy. I do think it helps that I had a good lettering pen as well, which was quite smooth. But yeah, not too shabby. Pretty happy with that. So I hope you found that helpful if you're considering using your iPad to make creations on your Cricut. Let me know in the comments though if you've got any other hints and tips and tricks, or if I did anything wrong. That was my first time trying it out, so I'm sure I'll figure out some other things the more I do it. Although I haven't got any plans just yet to change the way I usually do things with Photoshop on my MacBook. But maybe for making like little things for myself and making things out of scrap vinyl, I might start to do it with my iPad just so I get more used to it. And I think it might be handy down the line if I want to make something really quickly. I feel like it's a little bit easier to quickly draw something on my iPad, send it to the machine, than it is to kind of open my MacBook and open Photoshop and everything else. But we'll see. I do just love trying out different ways of doing things and seeing which one kind of saves me the most time or is the easiest, that kind of thing. Again, thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to see more videos like this one in future.